You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. So, what do you got going on over there? I love your hair.
Just look how big it is.
I am in love with it. I love the asymmetry of it. It suits you so well.
I have gotten more compliments on this hair than I think I ever have on any hairstyle in my life. And I don't know how much of that, like, people have always complimented the gray.
Sure.
Which I'm like, compliment me on the one thing that I don't technically have control of. I guess I could dye it, but I think a lot of people see it and they think that this is intentional.
Yeah.
I remember my first serious girlfriend thought I had highlights. I was like, no.
You're like, no, yes, but
it's just my hair.
It's just my hair. Yeah. Which is pretty awesome. So, Caleb, I went to the movies this past week.
I heard about that, and I demand that you tell me about it.
Well, if you're going to be rude about it.
No, fucking do it now.
You better do it right now. So I went and saw the movie Bullet Train.
Yes.
So David Leitch directed this, and David Leitch is the one who did Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. So already I was like sold, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a heist film. So it stars Brad Pitt. It's got a lot of other people in it. It's got the dude that played Quicksilver in the MCU. The MCU, not the X-Men films, the MCU one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just got a great cast. So we got Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Andrew Koji, Hiroki Sanada, Michael Shannon, great.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock, Bad Bunny. For those of you who are rap fans, Zazie Beetz, who I just freaking love, Masioka, who was Hero in Heroes.
Yeah.
He's a very small role, but he was great.
Loved him.
And somebody that we recently reviewed in a movie, Joey King, who she plays Prince in this one. So she's been a princess, and has the last name King. So she's just ripping through that monarchy.
Hollywood royalty.
She's just in general. But so, of course, this stars Brad Pitt. So it would be very hard for me to describe what this movie is actually about.
Yeah.
Because, so the general idea is Brad Pitt plays a character by the name of Ladybug, and he is hired to get onto this Japanese bullet train that's going from somewhere to Kyoto.
Sure.
And his job is to steal a briefcase and get off at a stop.
That seems easy enough.
Right. You just grab a briefcase, get off at the next stop, good to go. Job done. However, there's a whole bunch of other people on this train who have different jobs themselves. So like one person is sent to specifically stop him, another is sent to get the case, another is sent to kill the person that's going to get the person that's going to get Ladybug to get the case. So like it's a whole ordeal of mishmash, but it's a heist film, so there's all sorts of twists and like, oh, but you're from the other, and I love that. I love
the old double cross.
The old double cross. Yeah, and it reminds me, so for those of you who are Rick and Morty fans, the heist episode of Rick and Morty is absolutely hilarious because it perfectly sums up heist films, because he's like, no, but I knew you were going to double cross, so I did a triple cross that double crossed your double cross. It's great. He makes perfect fun of it in the end, and I absolutely loved it.
Important question, though.
Yeah.
How was the music?
Oh, the music's great in this movie. Why do you ask? Is it Bear McCreary?
I actually didn't look. It was more just because I fucking love spy music.
Oh, yeah. It's got a lot of, it feels more like a Guy Ritchie film. It feels more like Snatch than it does anything else. It's very like British. Like, what do you mean? I'm doing the thing. I thought I was doing the thing. We're doing the thing. Like, it's very much that sort of like very quick back and forth things. Like, if you've watched the trailer for any of like the longer trailers, that's pretty much the cadence of the whole film. Like, it is really like pop, 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 pop the whole way through. But it's absolutely great.
It is Dominic Lewis, who looks like really only been on the scene for like the last decade or so. Was involved with as a composer, I should say. That's the only credits that I'm really looking at.
Yeah.
Was involved with The Duff MI5,
Ooh.
and the DuckTales reboot.
Hey,
to name
all
a
right.
few, The Man in the High Castle, and a few others. Yeah, so like, I feel like probably not a particularly well known name yet, but seems like building quite a resume. So,
I mean, that sounds amazing to me so far. I mean, the between the Duff and Man in the High Castle, like that's pretty high acclaim. So,
yeah,
I'll take it.
Hell
Yeah, no, music was great, writing was great, absolutely hilarious film. Cannot recommend it enough. And there is a mid credit scene, so make sure to stay
Okay.
to the end of the mid credits because it's I'm not gonna tell you what it is, obviously, but it's one of those mid credit scenes where it's like, yeah. Yeah, like it just perfectly like rounds out the whole thing. And like I could absolutely see a world where like this extends out. Like there's definitely, like I mean Italian Job, there was like 3 of those films and like spin-offs, like Ocean's 11, like 3 of those like there was like 8 of those movies and spin-offs and stuff like that. Like they're definitely like there is a world in this movie that totally could be built out, or maybe we never see another film from it, and I would be satisfied with either.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, in a more, I guess, contemporary example, like Knives Out sort of thing, where like
Perfect.
it ends, it could have been totally standalone, but as soon as they said there was going to be another, we're all like, "Fuck yes!"
We're like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" Like, bring it on. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Like, Knives Out was perfectly satisfying, and then when they announced another one, I was like, "Yeah." But if they never did, I would have been like, "Knives Out is still a great movie."
I mean,
like it just exists on its own.
I feel like there in the modern world of like epic franchises, there is not enough appreciation for just a good standalone story.
Yeah.
And like we were just talking about that recently. I feel like you and I specifically were having this conversation about how like sometimes you just want a good, like just all by itself, just a one-off.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, I think also, but I think about this with video games too, is that I think about this very often where like sometimes just a really good single player, an Elden Ring, a Skyrim, games like that, like they just are really good and satisfying to have that one-off great experience and then one and done, right? Like I don't need another. I mean, Horizon Forbidden Dawn or Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, all great examples where it's like single player, one and done. If I got another one, I'd be pleased as punch. But if I didn't, it wouldn't take away from the experience I had the first time around.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of the same idea that I go for when I seek out like a fun, approachable, like easy combat system JRPG. Something like totally. Tell me a really poorly translated story with tiny little 8 or 16-bit sprites and let me spam a magic spell and like, fuck yes, I'm happy.
And then done. Yeah. Yeah. I think what are those called? Roguelikes. There's actually a new one coming out called Cult of the Lamb, which looks absolutely phenomenal if you hadn't heard of that one yet.
Yeah, roguelikes, that's the kind of like almost like dungeon crawler type game.
Yeah, it's like the like
top
80
down
degree
or isometric, I think. Yeah.
The one actually originally popularized by A Link to the Past from Zelda. That was the first what's considered bird's eye video game ever.
Do you
which
remember
is pretty awesome.
How kind of cool it was in The Adventure of Link in Zelda 2 with the fucking gold cartridge, by the way. When you start out the game and it's that top-down view that you're used to in the original Legend of Zelda, and then he goes into one of the like dungeon-type places and suddenly is side-scrolling. It's like, what? This is amazing.
Zelda 2. Yeah, Zelda 2 was really cool and unique for that. That was a fun game to play. I mean, obviously, for those watching on YouTube, I am a big Zelda fan. So yeah, Zelda 2 was I know Zelda 2 actually gets a lot of hate because it's the most different of all of the ones. The same thing with Wind Waker. But like in retrospect, Wind Waker is amazing and Zelda 2 is really fun. Like it is still a really fun game. And I don't think it deserves the hate it gets. I don't even know if it still gets the hate, but it used to.
I feel like it gets a lot of love from nostalgia. I think it gets hate when you try to play it. And I say that because several years back, I downloaded it. I think I still had my Wii, maybe. I downloaded it for a virtual console of some sort and started. I had the fucking audacity, the hubris to try to play it without some kind of walkthrough. And boy, was I put in my place quickly.
Yeah. Woof. That sounds like a problem. Caleb, you were recently on an adventure. Speaking of adventures,
I did go on an adventure. Yeah, so my company did a full office-wide shutdown last week to give us all kind of a mental reset. Awesome. And I spent the first few days doing almost nothing, and it was amazing. I've been catching up on a lot of reading lately, and just sitting out on my balcony, just absorbing the air and all of the various chemicals and whatnot that are slowly seeping into our atmosphere.
Well, when you put it that way, Jesus. I was like, oh yeah, it's very zen. And then I was like, oh, well,
no, it was great. It was super, super peaceful. And then we took a weekend trip over to Kansas City, Missouri, on the other side of the state, which is a very easy drive. Just one highway straight across, 4 hours maybe. And we got ourselves a hotel in the Crossroads neighborhood, which is kind of right in the center of the city. It's one of the cities where the downtown, the literal downtown, is actually in the southern part of the city. And
okay. So it's
then there's
down.
Yeah. So there's the downtown, there's the financial district up here. So they got two skylines, and then we were kind of in between them. And it was a neighborhood very similar to where we live here in St. Louis. In fact, most of the restaurants from St. Louis that have franchised out to Kansas City were in that neighborhood. We walked by a lot of them. That's familiar. A couple times, because we were struggling the first day-ish to find decent food, and we had in the past I'm sorry, Kansas City. If you know, if you're from Kansas City or really good places, not barbecue, don't come at me with that. Really good place to eat. At me, let me know, because we did eventually start finding some cool places, but past trips and the first day of this one, we struck out a lot, and we're almost we should just go to one of the places that we know.
Of the chains. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, so for those of you watching on YouTube, our Twitter handles are directly below us. For those of you listening on your podcast player of choice, they're all in the show notes down below. Tweet at Caleb, let him know where he needs to go in Kansas City for good food.
Yeah, we actually, the first place that we found for dinner that we really liked, we asked around for opinions, and I think it was the chef owner that actually came out and gave us a few we work a lot with these people, or this place across the street's good, this distillery is good. They contract with the catering or the cafe of the art museum, the Nelson Atkins, I think it was. I can't remember the full name of the museum, but it's the Nelson Art Museum, which we took a bus down to. The transit is free. You just hop on a fucking bus or the streetcar or whatever. Awesome. That's great. And we spent the entire first half of the day, easily 4 hours, just wandering around this massive, gorgeous old art museum, exhibits from all over the world. It was so cool. Paintings and statues and even furniture from
that's so cool.
Every continent. It was amazing. But the food in the cafe was great. It was surprising.
That of all places to find good food when you're on vacation,
cafe.
The museum cafe is not my number one choice.
So we there was a couple times that I thought about going to see a movie, because it was very hot. It was just hot and sunny, and the areas that we were in,
spicy,
wasn't necessarily a lot of shade. But no, we did the museum. We went to they have a Union Station that is still an active transit station. The Amtrak goes through there, and the streetcar runs through there, buses, etc. But they also have some museum exhibits. I wanted to go see one on the Mayans that was not open when we were there, but there was a dope ass model train exhibit. That just
That's awesome.
You see there's just one 70-year-old dude sitting in the corner by himself, just slowly assembling new pieces. But it was just this massive room full of various model train setups and just these tiny little towns. There was a reasonably accurate portion of downtown Kansas City made out of Legos.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so
oh my god,
it was fun. Yeah,
what a little adventure. I love it.
And then we would go out for the morning, and then mid-afternoon go back to the hotel and just try to cool off for a little bit, watch a bunch of HGTV. I think it was called 100 Day Dream Home. This crew, they work with a couple or a person, whatever, who wants to build a house, not to buy or renovate, but to build a house. And they give themselves 100 days from ground break to move in to build these people their brand new house. Pretty interesting show.
That is pretty interesting. I dig that.
I mean, that's most of what I've been watching lately has actually been either like HGTV because we were on the road and we could, or like travel videos just because we're kind of feeling that bug.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool in general.
Mm-hmm.
Fun little adventure. Speaking of another adventure, and it's an adventure in Dreamland. Wait, isn't that
Somnium?
Mario? Oh, it's Somnium. Somnium. That's only funny to the people that worked on the film, and one day we will tell that story so that way you guys can all get that joke. But yeah, so the big thing on Netflix right now is the Sandman.
Yeah, it's
traveling through dreams.
Neil Gaiman.
The Neil Gaiman original comic book or graphic novel is, well, I think it was a comic book, is now a show.
I've only ever seen it in graphic novel format, so I don't know if it was ever released like by.
I never read it.
Issues. Yeah, I haven't either. Yeah. I've seen a lot of the artwork though, because my brother was such a huge Dave McKean fan, and Dave McKean did a lot, if not all, of the cover art, at least for the early stuff. Yeah. Like really kind of trippy, like collagey, part digital, part like seems like probably traditional painting. Like I don't know. I don't know art, dude.
I ain't art. Yeah, I've seen a lot of like TikToks and stuff like that where people are doing panel to screen. They're showing the panels that they did like in the actual show, and it's like frame for frame, exactly like the script is basically the same. The frames are basically the same. Like they did a really good job of emulating the source material to this new one. But
fucking Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, that's dope as shit.
So good. She is so good. And I didn't let my daughter watch it because it's rated R and stuff like that. But we just finished watching The Good Place for the second time because she's obsessed with that show. So we've just finished watching it for the second time. But Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who played Simone in The Good Place, who is one of Chidi's girlfriends, is Death in this. And she has probably one of the coolest like episodes, the one that we see her in, which is like episode 7 or 6 or 7 or something. And it's just such a cool but like messed up episode, but it's such a good episode. What a good gothic show.
That's really, really cool. But imagine I'm gonna fall out of my fucking stool.
I will imagine that. Yeah.
Imagine me falling out of my stool. It's not that hard because I've done it.
Because I've seen it happen before.
Imagine my surprise to realize that Tom Sturridge was not Robert Pattinson.
It is, he's got the hair and everything, but also imagine my surprise that Tom Sturridge is not Robert Pattinson, and it is not also Robert Smith from The Cure. So Tom Sturridge is channeling both Robert Pattinson and Robert Smith from The Cure into one perfect character, and let me tell you,
he's both.
He pulls it off. He does it. I believe in him.
He was in a movie about Mary Shelley, and I'm trying to find out what character he played, but it looks like maybe it was a smaller part.
Was it? Oh, he wasn't what's his name? Baron von Douchebag or something? He was in Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh, he was Lord Byron.
Weird-ass movie. Oh, he was Lord Byron. That was the guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Lord Byron.
I always
get confused with Velvet Buzzsaw, which was so messed up, and I highly recommend that one too. So what a weird movie.
Yeah, I always get confused when like movie or show credits don't list a like fairly major character on like the main page. You have to dig into the other credits, and
the billing thing is so weird.
I know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. So there it is. That's a lot of cool things. So we need 3 things from you guys. Did you see Bullet Train and did you like it? Where is good food in Kansas City? We need to know. Caleb really needs to know. I doubt I'll be making my way there anytime soon, but Caleb really needs to know.
You could.
And then Sandman. Have you guys been watching it, and do you like it? We want to know.
It?
Do you like
Do
it?
you like?
You should tweet at us, message us, leave a rating and review. The whole spiel. We want to hear from you all about this. So there it is, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us for this episode. We super appreciate it. As always, make sure to share with 100,000 of your closest friends.
We do it all the time, and we wish that you would too.
Yeah, I mean the list has gone down because they keep blocking us, but we still send it. That's the important part. Is the act.
Not everything that you try is going to work, but the important thing is that you try.
Or don't. Or doesn't matter. Yeah, don't try. That's got a lot of effort.
When are we? Speaking of trying, have we done Ouija Shark yet, or do they still have that to look forward to?
Yeah, so they have to look forward to Ouija Shark, our brand new movie as part of our month-long question of, are there good shark movies? With the exception of Jaws, obviously.
We'll see.
We'll see. And actually, I shared it over on Twitter a couple of days ago, a week ago now, but one of my coworkers for a college project edited the film Jaws, but it's only the shark and anytime a woman speaks, and it's only like 12 minutes long. And I think it's after she calls it Sister Shark, and it was part of a college project she did. So she edited the whole film down to only when a woman speaks and only scenes of the shark, which is it's just great because it's like, where's my son? Shark, 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 the end.
That's amazing, and I want to watch it now.
It's great. I tweeted it out a couple of days ago for you, but about a week ago for everyone else. I'll tweet it out again because it's absolutely phenomenal. So Ouija Shark is playing on Tubi TV or wherever else you watch freemy movies like that. And then brand new episode coming out this Sunday. So for those watching, head over to the podcast to make sure to hit subscribe. And for those listening, hey, you're already there. Just hit that button again. Caleb's pointing to where you need to go on YouTube to subscribe to this channel. Brand new episodes every Thursday. This is what it is.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You might as well be along for the ride.
I agree. So thanks a lot for joining us, everyone, and we will see you on Sunday.